Hello and welcome to the Overgrown Tomb. Today we are taking a look at a Golgari deck with a video that's brought to you by the lovely people at Snapcaster and MTG Mintcard. My name is Simon Nielsen, and yeah, I'll be taking you through some matches today with a deck that might be a tad bit more competitive than what we had in the last video. This is the defined best deck in Standard right now, and playing that through the through the leagues on Arena is going to be a real treat. Let me just do a quick deck check before we get started here. So, first of all, the core of this deck is that you basically play a bunch of good black-green cards, but there's so many of them that the deck is very much interchangeable, and there's a bunch of different versions. So let me just go through what makes this one tick. So the core is that we have these explore creatures, which generate value when they come into play. They also support the sideboarded Walgolf Walkers very well. The Walker is not very good in the mirror, and not great against control and such. So we don't play it main deck at the moment, but it's the type of card that can definitely like fluctuate between the main deck and the sideboard. And right now it's still super important, even though it is in the sideboard, because against the red decks, against White Weenie and such, it's very, very important that you have access to this Walgolf Walker. So the core that most players play is the Explore creatures and Ravenous Chupacabra. So Chupacabra is also a card that got a lot better with rotation, as well. There's no longer like Scarab God and Hazoret the Fervent and such in the format that you can't really kill with the Chupacabra. Now you're just almost guaranteed to get value unless you're playing against a control deck. And also this deck makes use of the body very well, since it can regrow it from multiple different effects. So, that really sets up the baseline of a deck that is built around having powerful comes play abilities that generate you value, which lets you just grind out the game and get you your powerful cards and take over. So this version plays for Llanowulf. It's a pretty popular choice, but not everybody makes it. The mana base gets a little bit dicey because of Llanowulfs, so that's something to keep in mind. But here we do play 4, as also the upside of playing a Planeswalker early, is, especially in the mirror, is really good. Yeah, playing the Explore creatures here, both of them, you just want to make sure you hit your land drops always. Like, Golgari is all about like consistently making value and consistently enacting your game plan. So having these cards is really important. The same goes with District Guide. Like, this is the epitome of consistency. Another really important thing about District Guide is that it lets you run enough green sources to play Llanowulf on turn 1. We're like one short, we have 13 here, while still acting as a black source for your Chupacabra without flooding, since it is better than a land, because the body is actually irrelevant. And right now we have 14 black sources, we prefer to have 16, and the District Guide kind of covers the last spots. Plus the Explore creatures also help. So really it's a lot about consistency. I'm playing one Midnight Reaper. It's kind of a mirror tech, and I'm just trying it out right now. There are some random one-offs in here that are a little bit just to try them out. So then for the 4-drop slots, I already talked about Chupacabra. We have the Find Broker, which is another way to generate a ton of value. Like, you can regrow Planeswalker, or you can regrow Chupacabra, and even just like you play a Jadelight Ranger, it trades off with something. You just play Find Broker on turn 4 and get it back. Like that scenario is still totally fine. And also sometimes you'll have you can regrow Memorial to Folly, and no, yeah. I guess that doesn't actually come out that often. Never mind. I said you could just regrow whatever creature you wanted to get back with the Folly anyway, so it's like a very corner case scenario. I'm playing main deck Restless Contempt in this version, which is not a card that is that common to play main deck. But the thing is that people are trying to beat this deck by playing stuff that gets around the Chupacabra, mainly Rekindling Phoenix, also Arc-like Phoenix, and Adanto Vanguard. So actually having access to Restless Concept is very important. Also, in the mirrors, the Planeswalkers are super important, so having a main deck answer to a Planeswalker straight up is really important. See, other players play Assassin's Trophy in this spot, but the problem with Trophy is that especially in the mirror and in general in Standard, people are very good at using that mana. So you get super punished for just casting this. Like, I've definitely had somebody cast Assassin's Trophy on my Raska Golgari Queen, and that just rams me straight into my other Raska. It's just not an exchange I want to make in the current standard format, and especially with expecting to meet a lot of mirrors with Golgari. Speaking of Raskas, this is the first of the Planeswalkers. It's especially strong to play early on, and one thing to note here is that you don't actually have to sacrifice when you plus it. So you can just build up towards an ultimate. Once you get to the late game, you can cash in your extra lands that don't really matter. It also works very well with Midnight Reaper, since then you can just sacrifice your Secret Squires away and get to draw cards. And also, if you get to play turn 3, very often you can just -3 it, kill the only thing the opponent has in play, and now you're just left with a substantial advantage. We also have a single Doom Whisperer here. The version that won the PDQ some time ago now did have 4 Doom Whisperers, but the problem with this card is that it's not great in the mirror. The main reason why is partly Chupacabra. Doom Whisperer, while it does surveil, it doesn't generate any value. And also it's super weak to Vivien Reed, which is a card that has been performing very well in Standard lately. So I'm playing 2 main deck right now, as it really goes well with the Planeswalker package. This is sort of Golgari's Super Friends, in essence. Because you also have Rascal Relic Seeker, which can just take over a game by itself. You also have this one Isoni, which is kind of the combo with Doom Whisperer, since one really cool interaction is that if they kill Doom Whisperer, you can surveil very aggressively towards Isoni, and at the same time you fill up your graveyard, so that Isoni will just be a big threat. You could also play Carnage Tyrant in that spot instead. I think that's ideally more than reasonable, but right now we're still doing the Isoni Doom Whisperer plan. And last but not least, we have Fine Finality, which is this card is really part of what makes this deck. The fine part is just to right into the game plan of this deck, where you get to regrow creatures. You can get back a Chupacabra and a Fine Broker, and that's just so much value that it's really hard to overcome. Especially that getting back Isoni is super threatening. So it's a very cheap effect that we haven't really seen this effect for this cheap in Standard ever, I think, or at least like in my time. So having access to this this powered up version of the regrow effects is really what makes this deck tick, and especially since it's also attached to a sweeper, which this deck can certainly use, but it's not really you might not put a Ritual of Sut in the deck, for instance. But you can totally play a Finality main deck, and it's a very powerful sweeper. It's kind of Doom Blast like, which would certainly suit me, in that you destroy their board and you're left with a giant threat, which could be a Fine Broker with 2 counters on it. So also trying to set up the Finality is also an interesting game plan, and it does really give you some outs against White Weenie or Green-White tokens, which no other card could really do in the same manner where it still slots perfectly into your deck. And then we have the sideboard. We just have some cards here and there. It's fairly simple. One thing I'll notice is that Carnage Tyrant is the new hot tech, since both Control and the Mirror are very prevalent. And this card is actually pretty good in the Mirror, even though it might not look like it. It's just, everything just trades, but this one doesn't really trade for any one card. And it's relatively easy to just keep the board clean of double blocks and such, so it ends up threatening Planeswalkers and just being the last thing left over to end the game. Also, in the Mirror, like, even if they do get rid of it, you can just regrow it. There's so many ways to get it back. One card I actually didn't talk about is Memorial to Folly, which is it's just a land, but it actually is super important in what this deck wants to do. And then it just adds another way to get back your Chupacabras, to get back your Fine Brokers, which can then get back Raska, for instance. So it just adds some extra value to explore creatures, and just give you this extra thing that once the game goes along, you are you're gonna feel safe that you won't run out of gas. Okay, that's the deck tech. So let's move into some sweet matches. Alright, we're ready for our first match here, playing against Sarkhan. That's very threatening. So let's see how these, what all the fuss is about for this black-green deck. I have played some matches with it on Arena. Actually, one very sweet thing is that on Magic Online, I do not yet own the cards Overgrown Tomb and Doom Whisperers and such, like all the cards that are key in black-green. But I can just play them on Arena instead, because that's where I have them. And also, Arena doesn't really care about how expensive a mythic is. It's just the same as any other mythic or any other rare. Any rare is the same as any rare because you just have the wildcard system. So if you are looking for a way to test the deck but you don't actually have access to it online on Magic Online, it might be worth it to just get it on Arena instead. And I think that's totally reasonable. The metagame is certainly getting competitive. Speaking of competitive, this hand I think is very competitive. One thing to look for is that we have just the lands we need, so that we know that we're gonna consistently be able to cast our spells. And that's a very, very key factor for Golgari. So yeah, let's see how it goes. This deck can certainly get very grindy, so hope the match is not too long, but we see that we're already in a Golgari Mirror. Okay, well, we're probably gonna mirror that then one to play. Fine Broker, gonna get into the graveyard. So my opponent's probably looking for lands, since the Fine Broker is very important. Just do a safe way. Yeah, I'm just gonna throw that out there. Okay, so actually, I'm pretty excited by hitting land here, since my Branchwalker does cleanly trade with their Branchwalker anyway. So like having 3-2 versus 2-1 doesn't really matter. But now we just got an extra land to show for it, which can definitely get relevant in a long game. Like once we plan to play Izoni with 6 mana up, well, like that extra land is gonna help us get to that spot. And here's Raska, it's super important. Let's just play out a second Branchwalker here. I should probably have played it before I played my land, in case I get overgrown to him. Okay. I hit the other dual land. So now, like, we still have 7 cards in hand, even though, but we also are able to contest the board. So I think that's the real good advantage of these Explore creatures. Also, even though we might not need the 7th land on the face of things. I'm just gonna trade with the 3-2 here. Even though we might not need the 7th land on the face of things. What it also does is that it just makes us draw more spells, since we clear the lands from the top of the library. So, okay. I'm definitely also gonna try and follow up with my own Chupacabra. The mirror in the early game is a lot about tempo jockeying for position with Chupacabra, since you can, if you get a little bit ahead with your Explore creatures, that like they are just meant for value, but they can also attack. So if you get a good curve out and the opponent then goes like 2 and 3 Jade range on the draw, you can Chupacabra and try and press an advantage. And that's the sort of thing you see here, where now my opponent has 2 creatures, I have 0, and I need to try and catch back up. So I'm gonna play my own Chupacabra. I'm gonna kill the Branchwalker, even though 2-1 is worse than 2-2. One thing is that if my opponent has Fine Broker here, they will have to trade the Chupacabra from mine. Like, the thing about this matchup is that you really want Chupacabras in your graveyards, so that you can recur it, because you have so many recursion effects, and Chupacabra is one of the best things to recur. So actually managing, like, keeping the Chupacabras in play if you can, is a very interesting spot here. Okay, so now we just got passed down. That's okay though. Oh. Yeah, I really like to have drawn something to play here, especially if this hits a spell. Okay, it did not. So now the body doesn't actually matter, but I think I might just jump block it away, so that it just turns into an insect anyway. I'm gonna think a little bit about that. Maybe not.
My mission is more the belligerent needs her crew.
So let's think here. Next turn, am I playing Izoni or Raska? Actually, even if I play Izoni, I think I'll still keep the Seeker Squire in play, since the body is very relevant for making double blocks. I do think I need to get Izoni in play before I play Raska, but my opponent's Raska is very threatening here. This is why it's good to be in the play and why Mana Dogs are really good, is that like my opponent was just the first one to stick a Planeswalker. I think I'll just take the damage now. By jump blocking, I essentially gain 3 life at the cost of reducing the toughness on my Seeker Squire. In that, I just get an insect instead. We can see how important it is that this is a 1-2 instead of a 2-3. So like, that's a turn where I really didn't want to hit a land. And I think that's often going to be the case with Seeker Squire compared to Murphy Branchwalker. Since Branchwalker often trades anyway, whereas Seeker Squire really needs to hit a spell in order to trade. But yeah, I think we just go Izoni here. Since my Raska is gonna be very easily contested, like my opponent can just take down that Raska on my 2-2 and then attack everything on Raska. That's just not a great spot for me. So I'm trying to defend the board a little bit. Okay, so I'm actually happy to see Braska -3 since I don't really think I had an out to the ultimate. Except for trying to stay alive at 1 life. Though obviously losing Izoni is also not a very desirable spot. Okay, here I'm definitely gonna double block here, and I think I also double block the Jade Ranger. Again, note how I keep the Chupacabra in play. If I have the option to. It's not something you should go out of your way to do, but in spots like these, like you have seen me multiple times, like just there's 2 creatures, one of them is Chupacabra, I choose not to kill the Chupacabra. And yeah, well, now they're not gonna get back a Chupacabra, so they're gonna get back another Fine Broker, so that's still pretty bad. And they can use the treasure to play it as well. Okay, so we're really getting far behind on board, and I think this game is almost unwinnable at this point. You just see how much advantage they've gotten from their card advantage cards that I haven't really been able to put up. Like I've had the same cards almost than they have. At least I've had the Raska and such, but the fact that it comes later, coupled with the fact that my creatures weren't that good at trading, yeah, it just puts me in this position that is very awkward. So what can I do here? If I play Jade Ranger and I hit 2 spells, or hit 1 spell, I guess, I can also group back my Izoni. But can I do, if I go Raska minus, can I then use the treasure to do that later on? So let's see, next turn I'll have 8 lands plus 9 for the treasure, so that's 1 short of going Folly, get back Izoni. And also if I do that, Raska will just minus on Jade Ranger. And there's an attack for 8. But I kind of think I have to do that. Because if I go Raska minus... no, that's actually fine. Since I can jump block with the Beetle here.
Stand down or prepare to. I'll be taking that.
And now if my opponent attacks both of Raska, I can just jump block and Raska lives at 1. Which is a fine spot. And so like they might have to minus their Raska on my token, which is, I'm also okay with that. It's just that removes some pressure from the board. Also if they decide to ignore Raska, I can just minus it again and just get back Izoni.
Fight them, you maggot!
Obviously they could have a removal spell for the insect token. But again, like that still uses their removal spell. Oh, yeah, they're just gonna leave Vivian Reed on top. See, this is like the advantage you get from just having Planeswalkers. Oh, that's the removal spell thing. Presumably.
Only a fool stands in my way.
Yeah.
Creatures, they vanish all the time.
So I need to draw Fine Finality, basically. Okay, so they're playing around the football here, but I don't have anything, so I did save 2 points of life that turn. But my opponent's gonna have all 3 Planeswalkers assembled next turn, so I don't really see a way out. I'm 1 mana short of regrowing the Izoni, as I talked about. I can regrow Chupacabra, though. So I can regrow Chupacabra and play Llanowolf as well. Jade Ranger's just gonna get killed by the Raska. You know what? I think I'm just gonna pack it up here. Yeah, that was not a game we were gonna win. Okay, so for the mirror, I definitely want my 3rd Contempt. I've had tried 4, and I think that's too many 1-for-1s. I definitely want the Carnage Tyrants. You don't want Wild Golf Walker. You don't want anything that is just easily killed by Chupacabra without attaining value. So this is why we brought out Doom Whisperer. I think I'm gonna keep in the Izoni, even though it's a lot of creatures, since you just want to make sure you have powerful things once you get to 6 mana. A card you could consider is Argo's Bloodfast, but generally I've found in the mirror that you might either be under too much pressure to use it, or it just well, you don't really need it. Though actually, the more I think about it, the more maybe I should play it. One card you can actually shave is Chupacabra, since the opponent is expected to not have any decent targets for it. It's all gonna cost the same or less than Chupacabra, and they're all gonna generate value as well. So I don't think that's necessarily the way to go. Let's see, 61 cards here. And then what else? I usually shave a Secret Squire as well. So actually, you're pretty much pre-boarded for the mirror, so you don't really sideboard much. And yeah, there isn't really much to do. Like, I bought it in 2 Carnage Tyrant over Doom Whisperer and a Secret Squire, and I just exchanged a Chupacabra for Contempt. Definitely the Bloodfast is something you could consider, but also I like to keep Lana Walls in the deck for the reason we discussed, even though normally in mid-range mirrors it's very popular to just board out your But I think it's just too important here to play your stuff early. And yep, this is definitely a hand that does that. So this hand is gonna be great. We just go turn to Jade Light Ranger, maybe turn 3 Chupacabra, if we find another black source. We have fine finality to blow them all back. This matchup you don't use the finality side that often. Okay, so opponent actually kept in Walk of Walker. And sadly, we don't have the second black to punish it. But it's okay, I don't really need to kill right now. Okay. I guess I should have lost like my land. I think I'm gonna try and exhaust my Planeswalkers here, so I'll just put this in the graveyard. Since I do have finalities, they're fine to get it back anyway. So, I don't really feel a rush to try and get there. Stand? No. It's not that bad that it's a 3-2. It doesn't really matter for most cases. Okay. Now we can end up saving 2 points of life by not playing the Overgrown Tomb last time. I'm probably gonna trade. This is what I mean. You can see like how sometimes you just develop this big board in the mirror with the help of Chupacabra, just cementing your advantage. And now my opponent is gonna try and clear up some stuff with their own Chupacabra. And that is the dance we play. Then I'm gonna attack and I'm gonna regrow stuff with. No, I'm gonna play a Raska. I think actually, if my opponent kills the Raska immediately, yeah, I'm just gonna throw attack here. Because like by minusing, I essentially just create a 2-2 or 2-1, since then my opponent's not gonna trade. But I can also plus and it's the same thing. So. There's no reason to minus there.
My crew is the finest in the seas.
But oftentimes you would wanna minus on a juicy target if your Raska can survive, so that you gain more value than just a 2-2 if the Raska is then immediately killed by Contempt or something. Yeah, Eldest Reborn. One really good thing about Land of Wolves is that it protects very well against Eldest Reborn. So it's like this card is already enough value, so you really don't want it to gain value when it comes into play, like by hitting something big. It's also important to keep this card in mind when you play Carnage Tyrant. So you should refuse to explore creatures. Oh, that's very nice. So I guess I'll just lead on this, plus it, and then I'll have the information to see what else. Yeah. So now opponent is screwed. You can really see that it's there's definitely some tracking for position, but also sometimes you're just overrun by Planeswalkers. Okay, so I haven't really sideboarded differently play or draw, but I'm considering having the third Chupacabra again because I saw my opponent had Wild Wolf Walker. And I think I'll do exactly that. And so on the draw, maybe I can either shave a Fine Broker or a Raska. Raska's also very good against Wild Wolf Walker though. But I think since I'm on the draw, I'll just shave this. Also, you can see that I have 2 different artworks on Raska. It is the same card, but it's just this is the promo you got for being part of the beta. So that's really cool. You just get those very full art. You also got a Teferi and a Ral. So yeah, certainly appreciate that. Yep, I would snap keep this. You have yet another Llanowelf Jailer Ranger hand, which is exactly what you want. I could also see myself go District Guide on turn 2 instead, so that I make sure that I have double black. But right now, I don't need double black for turn 4. My opponent doesn't mulligan on the play, which I'm also happy to see, since when it all comes down to it, this is a value matchup, even though dark cards just generate way more value than what is reasonable. Gonna play the one to the side, so it looks like I just top deck my Llanowelf, which I did do. You can read your opponent's hand in Arena, since you can see where they play a card from, and just notice like, which turn they drew that card. But one problem with this is that you're also able to rearrange your hand. So actually, I've also tried to make it a habit that whenever I play a card, I just move it to the side, so it always looks to my opponent like I top decked it. Since my opponent can't see that I rearranged the cards, which also means that you can't really use hand reading at all in Arena, since you don't know if they just rearrange their hand. I think I'm gonna play a Jade Light Ranger here. Up the pressure. Ooh. I would really like to hit my land drops, but I also have 2 District Guides, and this card is pretty good. Now I can just regrow it with Fine Broker. Okay, well that was a very unexciting game. But I will score it as a victory. We got a pack. Hey, we're back for a second match here. Now we're up versus Jace. So let's see if the Golgarian Menace can keep up its dominance. I go first, then this hand is a keep. I'm a little bit concerned if I was on the draw, since I have a Central Branchwalker, which is great and all. I'll probably end up keeping it on the back of both having Branchwalker and having perfect mana. But these cards do get a lot better on the play. And especially since I don't really have anything to precede them. I can certainly imagine myself getting run over if I don't do anything meaningful to impact the board, and then just play a Planeswalker. I'll just get killed immediately. Water Grave. Okay, so we're probably getting some control deck, and you can see we now have the perfect Planeswalker curve. Yep. Well, certainly take that. Yeah, let's library this one. So now we end up just having a perfect curve now. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What we're looking for with just Jedi Ranger now is just lands. So I'm gonna put anything in the graveyard that isn't a land, and hopefully it doesn't get countered. Okay, so this is search for cancer. That's actually nice, since that gives our Raska a purpose to turn it comes down. Since I don't think I want to sacrifice anything I've got, I definitely don't want to sacrifice my lands, since I need to use them for my Planeswalkers. And I also don't really want to sacrifice my creatures against the control deck. But I can minus and just kill the search plus cancer, which is very important. And we drew 2 lands, it's perfect. So now I can certainly see myself playing Data Ranger. It's only a 2-1. But against control, even a 2-1 can be a major threat. And I think with my hand right now, I am just gonna jam. Sometimes you have these hands against control, where you are gonna try and play it smart. Oh, okay, well, no, I definitely don't need to worry about counter spells. Sometimes you have these hands where you try and play it smart, and you don't play anything into the 3 open mana, so that next turn you can play 1 or 2 things into a 4 open mana, so that they just waste their turn 3, and then on turn 4, they can't cast both their card draw spell and their counter spell, so you kind of make them choose between them and make life awkward for them. So I'm definitely often skipping when my opponent has 3 mana open. Against control, I can just skip my turn, and that's the strategy that works. But with a hand like this, where we just can curve up perfectly, and we can keep up the pressure, well, then I definitely just like it. And now my opponent's tapped out. Doesn't matter.
Leave before I make you disappear.
Well, that's very passive aggressive, Raska. Let's destroy a search plus now. You can see now, this position is super good for me. My opponent probably needs to cast a Ritual of Soot in order to get rid of the board, or at least cast a 1 removal spell on the Branchwalker. But there's still a Raska actually. Yeah, so So there's the ritual assist. I am just gonna get a good read. And yeah, we are playing Golgari Super Friends. I'm not gonna sacrifice anything here. Ooh. Doom Whisperer, Jade Light Ranger, or Chupacabra. Okay, so let me think here. Can we lose to any creature right now? I don't think so. I think we have any creature packed with our current setup. So I don't want the Chupacabra. I think I want the Doom Whisperer. It's just the best threat against control. And it lets me surveil into more stuff. I can also see myself take the Jade Light Ranger though. But that might end up being a curve thing. I think I'll go for the Doom Whisperer. Also, we only have one Doom Whisperer in the deck. So I'm gonna pause Raska, but I'm gonna elect not to sacrifice anything. All my permanents are just good here. Or at least important. And next turn I can start sacrificing lands. Since like your curve does top at 6. So once you hit 6 lands you can start sacrificing them as long as you have more lands. It's also, you don't really need to get value from this every turn. Since you it's still just like, it already has traded for a card and it still sits in play and threatens. That's okay. If my opponent is forced to do all this sorcery speed, that is perfect, since now I just get to second Raska. Now with the dude.
All hands on deck.
Yeah, we need to listen to what Raska says.
Take no prisoners. Everyone is expendable, except me.
That's not true, Raska. You could certainly expend yourself here. But I'm not gonna sacrifice my Raska. That would be hideous. Also, I really like the interaction between these two cards, in that when you minus Raska, you get a treasure, which is a permanent you can use to sacrifice. Oh, I should have sacrificed it. Okay, so here I think I'd rather sacrifice Llanowars than Doom Whisperer. Oh, sorry, than a land. Since Llanowars is a little bit vulnerable, and I want to make sure I have 6 lands next turn. It's also possible that I should have played up Midnight Reaper there. Yeah, actually that doesn't sound too bad. I could play up Midnight Reaper. So do this guy Raska? I think so. Okay, so let's try and dig for another Vivian Reed. Or another big Raska. Okay, there we go. And you can see I just get to slam Planeswalkers, and it is all very well and fun. So now we get the treasure, which is perfect for sacrificing people.
The ends justify the means.
I'm okay with playing up the Wolves. Yeah, so like the upside of playing Midnight Reaper and sacrificing Llanowar last turn, is that we obviously get some card advantage, but now we just get like the immense pressure of the Whisperer, and you also really saw it back there, where since I'm against a control deck that doesn't pressure my life total, I was able to just, you know, dig through my deck until I hit exactly what I wanted. And obviously I got a little bit lucky, I only needed to surveil twice. But you can certainly see what I mean. That's not good enough to keep them alive. Yeah, that is, however, but yeah, they, you know, they realized that it's over anyway. Okay, so I got control. I want all of these, and I want my Carnage Tyrants. So my Chupacabras aren't great, though my opponent is playing Bolas, so they probably play some creatures. But maybe I just want the Raskas Contempt to attack those. Also, I have Vivians and Raskas to kill the creatures, so yeah, I don't really feel threatened. Maybe I should cut an Sony just because I'm a man of 6 stops, but I only have 5, so it's not that many. Yeah, I think I'll just cut all my Chupacabras here. I still have plenty of cards I need to cut. Okay, so I do like to cut Seeker Squire. I'm unsure if I need to cut Llanowar in this matchup. They certainly seem good, but on the other hand, On the other hand, they might just be too low impact. They do go very well with my 6 drops, so maybe I just shave on nano walls. And I go like this, and then also cut a Sony, I think. Because now I cut some mana sources, so I don't want to build it for 6 drops. Yeah, the thing about nano walls is that they get swept up by their sweepers, so I don't necessarily want to draw too many of them, and I don't think I need them as well. I think all 3 fine finality is good, since if they don't exile my cards that often, I just get to regrow them. Yeah, so this game was a really good showcase for just like the raw power of this deck. Like what just happens when you play a Raska on turn. Did I play turn 3 Raska here? I'm playing turn 4 Raska, yeah, into just perfect planeswalkers. So yeah, this hand is certainly a hand. I'm gonna keep this. I'm not sure if I should have left 2 Contempts in my deck, but I am a little bit scared of my opponent having even just Ralzarak is a card that I need to kill. They might also be playing Sarkans and Nip Mizzets, and I just want to make sure that I have enough answers in my deck. And I think Contempt is better than Chupacabra. My opponent could also be playing Phoenix easily. So. But the main reason is that it kills things. Obviously this hand is a little bit greedy on land-wise. But we do have, and now we have this situation again where Raster can just attack that. Okay, so we're definitely just trying to hit land here. So let's go to the graveyard. My opponent might also be playing the creature-heavy creatures deck, the one with Deep of Hope and Doomward Burn Touch. Actually, I'm really weak to Deep of Hope. Yeah, I just realized. And as I say that, here comes Deep of Hope. Okay, but if we hit a land, we can play Bastion to kill it. So, graveyard. Graveyard. And actually, even if we don't hit land now, since we just explored so heavily to the graveyard, I actually just get to play Find and just get back 2 things if I need to. Yeah, like even if my opponent doesn't have Thief of Sanity main, I should definitely have thought about that they play Pro Sport. Which means that I should have bought it in Crowl Harpooner, I think. That seems like a good answer to it. So they decided not to get Firebroker and Raster's Contempt, so that's very scary. But I'm happy that there were 3 non-lands on top and they just cleared away all of them. Oh, there were even more non-lands. My opponent also didn't hit a land. Maybe they took a land with Thief, thinking they could play it. Graveyard. Oh, wait. I should have left that one on top, I think. No, because I'm trying to draw lands, so I want to maximize the chance that it hits lands. Okay, so now I'll get to the side. If I keep Branchwalker on top, my opponent's going to get a Branchwalker, and I think I don't want that to happen. Since it can trade well with the Jailer Rangers. So, I'm going to put that in the graveyard. But obviously I have, like, worse cards to hit. They're also 10 life right now, like, this is just the power of Explore creatures. Since sometimes, when you don't hit lands with them, like, they're just, you know, like, above average rate. Like, a 2-mana 3/2, it's not amazing, but it's certainly, like, it can still deliver pressure, and the same with a 3-mana 4/3. And pressure is exactly what I've gotten to here. Okay, so now, 1 land, 1 find, and it casts ritual instead. That's fine, though. Land? Yes. Okay, so now I get to kill the serpent with my Raspberry.
Go ahead. Consider it done.
I also get to find broker for a land here, which is something you don't get to do that often. But yeah, I can take back a forest. Should probably will next turn if I'm allowed. If I draw land, however, I think I'll just find, if it doesn't get discarded, obviously, and get back some stuff. Man, my graveyard is so full now. Yeah, they just take the find penalty. Like, that's just a clean 2-for-1. I get to get back a Find Broker and a Jailer Ranger, for instance, and the Find Broker can get back a Raska, and yeah, it is kind of nasty. So it did hit my land. But now I no longer have that option. I have a land off in the graveyard. I can just get that one back and then sacrifice it, maybe? No, that seems stupid. I can just get back a Raska instead. That seems way better. And then I can not sacrifice anything.
Sometimes sacrifice is necessary.
Let's play around with the thing. Maybe I do get back a land, actually. So I can just play my Carnage Tyrant next time. Nah, I think I'd rather have more stuff here. It also might be the counter. It's very interesting what I should discard if my opponent plays Bolas. I think it needs to be Carnage Tyrant. Yeah, it does. Oh, they're gonna make that choice for me. I'll just sacrifice the elf here.
As long as we win, nothing else matters.
Yeah, I'll play my land. If they play Bolas, I get to respond to the discard trigger with Raster's Contempt, so you're okay. Oh no. Maybe I should have kept a land instead of the elf. Yeah, that was actually horrible.
Oh, good hit. Don't let it go to your head.
Wrong Raster. Rough to hit the
Everyone is expendable.
I do need to remember that we need to discard a card here, so I am gonna just keep this land in hand. Maybe no, I think I need to keep this consensus. They're gonna get back something with the Eldritch Reborn. What are they gonna get back though? Oh wait, they can get back my Fine Broker and get back their Eldritch Reborn. Yeah, that's pretty rough. We're probably not gonna survive that. Or maybe they gain. Maybe they get Rask or something. Either way, it's pretty rough. We definitely see the grinding power of the Grixis decks here. And kind of the Golgari decks being a little bit dismantled by counterspells and discard, which is certainly a good way to get around things, since removal spells doesn't really cut it, as you just get so much value from your ETB triggers. Oh wait, you can also just get Carnage Tyrant. Yeah. Yeah, that's rough. I also don't have any Plaguecrafters or Eldritch Reborn of my own. Like, this would be perfect to have in okay. So now I need to draw my own Carnage Tyrant again. And I have about 1 in 31 chance of doing it, so it's not the best odds. Play this out because of Bolas and such. Do they have enough mana to do this? Yeah, definitely have. Let's go to the next game. Okay, so my opponent is more creature heavy than I anticipated. I think I'll definitely board in the Harpooner. It's a threat I can just play out, but it also answers most of their threats. Which is probably why it wasn't the sideboard to begin with. I thought it was against mono blue, but actually it has more uses. So there were 2 in the sideboard from the list I got. And okay, so what's actually bad here? Maybe the Contempt is not good. I'm just gonna cut the Contempts and add Chupacabras. But then maybe it's the same with Doom Whisperer, that it doesn't acquire value, but we're not against the Chupacabra deck though. Do I have enough answers for my opponent's Thief of Sanity? Well, I do have. Now that I'm into play, I have a lot more. Yeah, I think I'm okay. Though I need to cut a card. Or I can probably cut the rest actually. I don't need that many. Maybe I should cut another one. Add another elf. Okay, I like this. one-lander. Mulligan my one-lander. Sometimes you keep one-landers on the 6 cards, but this is not one of them. Since even if I hit my next 2 land drops, I still can't do anything. Yep, this hand looks okay. Do I want to rest here? I think yes. Because I think I need to protect the Raska that I have right now. Protect the queen is literally what I'm doing here. Yikes. My opponent's stuck on 2 lands now. I think I'm gonna get the Thought Erasure. I said this would also help him hit lands. And yeah, then I'm just gonna try and navigate around the counter spells. Branch Walker would be my best draw now. Blind Broker is not. This might also be a card I just play out for value. That thing's actually control land here. No. This is actually an answer to the Nickel Bola, so I think I'm just gonna keep it. Since I can discard a Fine Broker and then play a Harpooner. Another. Do I play it yet though? Yeah, I think so. Since I can't syncopate it right now anyway. Okay, they got another syncopate. Ritual Assert doesn't do anything. Contempt, I think, is my pick here. Maybe not. Maybe I need to grind my way through the counter spells. I think I'll take the Contempt. Because that, whatever I manage to sneak into play, they can just Contempt instead, so. Also, you kind of want to, with your discard spells, you kind of want to dig a hole in the opponent's hand. And now my opponent is soft to resolve things. And I just have a hand full of counter magic, and that's somewhat exploitable for my position. Now I get to decide if I want to just play something into that counter magic. Because I could just play out a Fine Broker, but it will get syncopated. Yeah, I'm not interested in that. I think we're just gonna play Drogo for a while here. So this is my plan. If they slam a Thief of Hope at some point. Yeah, this is a somewhat hard game to play, as we both need to think about what we've done to put ourselves in this position. So it's like we both know what's up, and I'm just not gonna let my opponent play efficiently with that kind of thing. If my opponent breaks an I draw land, I get to resolve this, and I think that's very, very huge. I can also maybe get to a spot where I play multiple things in the same turn, and the syncopates are just gonna be super taxed then. But like, what are they gonna do? If I drop Branch Walker, for instance, now, like, are they gonna counter it? Yeah, nothing has really happened this game. This is sometimes how games play out. Games of Magic. My opponent also does not know what I have in hand. Ooh. I kill Elf. Oh no. Oh, Spyglass. Okay, that's actually bad enough. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Name's Raska, Golgari Queen. Yeah, makes sense. Okay, but now I do get to resolve a Midnight Reaper. I'm gonna do exactly that. Except for one. Let's play this first. Now they get syncopated, so. The Harpooner also plays very well with the Reaper. So like now they can cast Ritual of Set, but that would be not great for them. Actually now they can, because they can keep up Disdainful Stroke. But I do get to draw 2 cards, so. Okay, obviously I would have loved to be able to discard a Raska here. But, ooh, now we got Vivian Reed to attack this one. Also, I'm gonna play out my Raska, by the way. But yeah, this lines up perfectly. Like, I get to kill Bolas, draw a card, attack, play Raska. Because, like, just having the Raska in play means that as soon as I draw an answer to the Spyglass, like, or I have one already, but as soon as I resolve one. This is why we discarded the creature, so that this would gain 4 power. Able to kill a Bolas. I can get back my Harpooner. I think that's really big. Let's play Raska first, so we can syncopate it. Maybe my opponent could have a second Bolas here. Maybe this is actually just bad. Oh, they are gonna syncopate it? Okay, I'm just gonna play one.
I lead the Golgari now. Step aside or be crushed.
Yeah, it's actually kind of awkward if my opponent has a second Bolas that I played out my Raska though. Since I would have loved to discard it. Okay, here comes the next draw. So I get to draw 2. Get punched in the face. Oh, it's okay though. We're not quite there mana-wise. I can, however, just get back my Midnight Reaper and play it again, without getting syncopated. I can also just play GRN. Yeah, I'm very close to just be able to play Fine Broker and have them counter it, and then, yeah. Huh. Okay, I think I want to actually leave my Memorial, since I can also get back a Harpooner. Which is something I'd want to do. So I think I just lead on this. Yeah, next turn, being able to play Fine Broken Vivian in the same turn is very good as well. So yeah, I don't think I want to sacrifice my land to get back Midnight Reaper here. Jailer Range is obviously not as good of a threat, but yeah, it is a threat. I also realized now that on the turn I cast Raska, my opponent just probably didn't notice that I had it. had a land on Wealth untapped. I wonder if this is the tilt timeout. That would be an awful way to end things. If it is exactly that, then yeah, I guess we're just gonna end the video instead of having you sit through this. Oh, it was just actual thinking time. I think I don't want this. I don't think I want this either. Still have a land to discard to a Bolas now. I'm not too happy about it though. Eldritch Reborn. Huh. That's super interesting. I would like to kill the Eldritch Reborn with my Vivian Reed now. Which also means I don't really need this Raska. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna push the Raska here.
I'm still here.
Which was a very good reason to play it. Yeah, I'll just take my turn. And I will lead on Find Broker. I'll lead on attack here. The opponent's not gonna do anything about that. So let's play a Find Broker. And it does get hit by the same control. So that was my bait, and it worked. Vivian and I try the others more. Alright, so I feel pretty good about my spot now. I know my opponent has a syncopate in hand, which is mostly useless. And as you can see, like the way this game was navigated, obviously like they just end up wasting syncopate, but even if they had a second syncopate in hand, like at least the way the game played, they might have played differently, but at least the way the game played out, they just wouldn't be able to use them. So that was basically my plan when I casted the rest and saw that they had 3 counterspells in hand, or even when I saw they had 2. And this is a mulligan to 5, right? And I just basically, from your mulligan to 5, it's really important that you try and make your cards as good as they possibly can be, and you try and make the opponent's card as bad as they possibly can be. And I think that's exactly what we've done here. I'm gonna plus Vivian.
You can't stop nature.
Get a branch walker. Okay, so let's attack here. So it's like right now I'm very much on even footing with my opponent. And that has been because I knew that they had counterspells and I just was not willing to let them use their counterspells well. Because that's the thing about counterspells is that actually, when I'm playing against counterspells, I am usually the one in control of what those counterspells get used on, unless I'm also at the same time under pressure, or there's like a fairy or something. Because if the game is just like this, where both players just pass, like I'm not required to do anything, and my opponent is required to leave up that mana, because otherwise their counterspells would just not be useful. Okay, so right now they have 7 mana open. So if I play Jedi Ranger, wait, so they can, they're 8 mana, they can do it for X equals 7. So play Jedi Ranger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, so I can pay for pay. Oh, I was actually just thinking about this. So I have the Vivian to attack the Spyglass. Yeah, I don't think I want this, because I'd probably rather use my Vivian for something else. Like, it has plenty of targets in this matchup. Now I can play Branchwalker, and it will get syncopated. And I'm not actually so much into that, so I'll just pass the time. Oh, jeez, okay. Fine. Yeah, this is pretty bad for me, actually. Because now they're gonna be able to kill Vivian. And yeah, I could have just had a branch walk and play. Oh, so they put another syncopate in the graveyard? Yeah, that's funny. Wait, bounce? the Vivian. That's not how you do it. Or maybe they just didn't want to take 7 damage. So I don't know what the last card is though. Like obviously they just drew one. But I also had one in hand for a while now. The next turn, I'm not able to play. I'm exactly not able to play Vivian and play around. And play around Syncopate. What I can do, however, is I can get Findbroker, which can get back Harpooner, and then I can also still play Vivian. I'm pretty sure. Let's check. No, I'm one short because I need to sacrifice a land. Yeah, I'm one short of that entire interaction. So let's just get back Harpooner, I think. I can also get back Chupacabra, that's better, right? I can play Chupacabra and Vivian in the same turn? Yeah, I can. Oh, second Vivian. Can I play both? Yeah. Would I do that? Because they're probably just gonna let the Chupacabra resolve. If I play Vivian, they're gonna tap out. Okay, I think I like playing Vivian actually. Since my opponent's forced to tap out. Or leave up 1 mana, I think. Yeah. Obviously, if they have another Disdainful Stroke, that's a problem. But I can just trade for their Dream Eater. It's not even that bad. Yeah, so we're gonna syncopate it for exit 6.
Okay, so you've got claws.
Here's my second Vivian. That I just top decked.
The wild wasn't met. No one said restoration was painless.
Now I put them to 1 life, and yeah. Okay, managed to dig our way out of the mulligan to 5 against the Grixis deck. I certainly got punished in game 2 for misjudging what I was playing against. Since I thought that they were more controlling since they had Search Force counter. And I think I even saw counter spells in game 1, right? But in reality, maybe they just brought it into more creatures. I can certainly see that being the case, but I was blindsided by the Thief of Hope. And we really got to see how good Crowl Harpooner was, and that's probably a card that I need to respect more going forward in the sideboard, since I thought it was owning against Mono Blue, but actually does a lot of work in this matchup too. Just by being an answer to like Niv Mizzet, Nicol Bolas, Dream Eater, Doom Whisperer, and Thief of Sanity, like all the creatures are flying, and it's a card that they can't Disdainful Stroke, which is the main game plan against you, and apparently also Syncopate. They also can't really be syncopated. Okay. Those are we are for the 3rd and final match with Golgari. So they just shock them, so they're probably gonna plan to opt or maybe shock something. I'm just gonna play this tapped. And yep, we are playing against an Izzet deck that has opt. Sorry for the silence there, by the way. I just spaced out. So let's talk about our hand. It's actually a decent hand here. We get to yeah, we just get to okay, well, some stuff. We get to Jeskai control. Okay, yeah, they play up now actually, which probably also means they play Crackling Drake. But if they play Drake next turn, at least I have a Chaka for my Chupacabra, which is the bad part about Drake in this matchup. Here, I think I'll lead on District Guide, since it's just about the whole thing with playing an intercounter match. Yeah, like, I'm okay with this getting ionized. I could also see a line where I just pass the turn here, since then they're just not able to play anything. But Search for Cancer, wow, that's gonna get punished. We've already seen this play come up a billion times, but Raska killing Search for Cancer, that is sick.
I'm good at what I do, and what I do is win.
Yeah, that describes me very well. So, I hope you can actually hear what Raska says, since that would be very awkward if you couldn't. It's kind of low, at least for me. Okay, here comes the Fairy. Well, that's pretty good as well. You get to just minus on the Raska, or plus.
I'm not ready for this quite yet.
Yeah, it's like one Planeswalker is stronger than the other. I think I'll play out Jade Light, and maybe I should just resolve Vivian there. Raska doesn't really do anything for me. Yeah, actually, like, I'm really weak to Deafening Clarion now, so maybe I should have just tried to resolve Vivian. My main problem is that I don't really have a good answer to the Fairy now. It would have been sweet if I had something in play to pressure it. Which is, again, where the Land Wealth comes in. I don't think... The thing that's so absurd about the Fairy is that it's a Planeswalker that kills other Planeswalkers. We just don't see much of those.
You know what? I'm not done yet.
Yeah, so this is the spot where I'm just gonna get buried right now. Since my opponent has counter magic open, I think I'll just try and jam stuff. Okay, so this did the same. And my opponent has no end of turn answer. So okay, maybe we have a chance now. Just maybe.
Hold that thought.
They do play lightning strikes and such, and are a little bit weak to Doom Whisperer. If it isn't but this is fine, right? Like, I get you just Chupacabra, right? Let's surveil a little bit. Findbroker and Jade Ranger. I really like both, actually. Let's see, what are we trying to do here? Next turn, I am gonna play a Chupacabra, so yeah, I think I would like the Jade Ranger, just to have a 4-3 in play. I could also play Vivian. Maybe it's better to play Vivian. Yeah, it probably is better to play Vivian. Okay, so I'll keep Findbroker and ditch the Chupacabra. So it's the next turn if I draw Black Souls, I can play both Findbroker and Chupacabra. I think I just want to start with Vivian. I could also start with Doom Whisper attack. But I'm just afraid that they're gonna block. Well, maybe they block anyway. They get to count this. Oh, this resolves. Wow. I'm very surprised. Alright, so you can see that I just have a billion ways to... this doesn't do anything, right? No. The thing about Vision Briefing is that it essentially costs triple blue, since you fairly often flashback a blue card with it. And yeah, with the plane... Like, essentially my opponent this turn had to use 6 blue and 3 red. So even with the Teferi untapping, that just isn't able to be done when there's also planes involved. Pretty funny. But you can see that the Izzet deck just have tons of... oh, sorry. The Golgari deck have tons of ways to deal when they miss it. Like, we have the Chupacabra, we have the Vivian, we have Raska. Maybe even Plaguecrafter in some versions as well. And also Crowl Harpooner, like Humanity. Like, it's just... The Mizzet is just not good at all against Golgari.
Make another move.
Okay, I'm very surprised that this game turned around. I did not expect this to happen. But I assume my opponents just have some Deafening Clarions and lands, useless cards. When I was playing Jeskai, I certainly was flooding quite a bit, since the deck has 27 lands. So I can see that this is what
my responsibility.
What, now my opponent minuses the parry again? Okay. Let's try and dig for contempt here. I can also just straight up draw the Doom Whisperer right away again with my Vivian. Ooh, Raska. Should do that instead. No. Okay, I should probably stop now. How much can they actually cast Explosion for? Only for X equals 4, so we're still okay. But yeah, I shouldn't do this anymore. Like, I'm getting dangerously low now. I still don't think I want to draw Brain Corner, so we'll just let this happen.
Reverse!
Ah, that was pretty cool. Reverse. Let's just start passing Vivian. I'll have a better idea of what to do.
Meet my newest friend.
Yeah, so we get to... wow, that's a lot of stuff. So we get to get back Doom Whisperer, but I can't play Doom Whisperer and Jadar Ranger at the same time. Let's see what we have in our graveyard for the Fine Broker here. Happy Nebraska. Yeah, I think I just want to get this. Let's lead on Fine Broker. Because it can't be anticipated. Okay. And a Spectator Ranger. Also, Fine Broker is a very good threat. It can't be Lightning Struck, it can't be Deafening Clarion, it can't be hit by Justice Strike. In general, the just get suffers a little bit against these types of cards. I think I still want to graveyard this. I just want to hit a Erasmus Contempt. That's all I want to do.
No time for a break.
Yeah, that's feels like my life right now. Okay. So wait, did they just cast Insight? Yeah, they must have, right? Oh no, they put it in graveyard. Okay. Oh, let's just play second Teferi
I'm
now.
known for my excellent timing. Let's skip to the
Really
good
Teferi
part.
flooded. Okay, they get to untap 4 lands now, so that's certainly something. But I still get to attack both of Teferi, and then like even if they settle. No wait, they have 7 lands on tap, so they can still cast. They can still cast removal spells. So we have 8 lands now, but I don't have
Come to me.
4 black. I think I just get a land here. I have plenty to use my mana on. Okay, I think I need to attack both the Teferi, and if they settle me here, I'll still get to do some stuff.
Not that.
Oh, just died.
That
Wow.
didn't pan out.
I like casting Fine Broker here, and then using Fine to get it back. Oh, okay. My opponent just does nothing. I can just get a Raska. Yeah, now it seems like my opponent just doesn't have anything, so I'm just gonna play out. Oh, they could have just countered the Fine Broker. But yeah, I'm okay with the Wait, am I dead now?
Just a flesh wound.
No, they can still only explosion for 4. I'm actually very worried about my life total. I should probably not have darked that aggressively with my Doom Whisper. So it's like explosion is like 4 mana and X. No, really? Oh, that's so funny. Okay, yeah, fair. They play Banefire main deck. Yeah, I just got super punished by doing the Doom Whisper so many times. I think I got a little bit tunnel visioned on what I was doing. I could probably activate it like 3 times at best. The Jeskai deck does have a lot of incidental burn. I was afraid of Expansion Explosion, but even then, like they could just go like Lightning Strike to my face and Expansion Explosion. Oh well, let's try them in the post-board games. Main deck Banefire, huh? Definitely Carnage Tyrants. So what we don't want is the Chupacabras. They do have Niv Miss It though, but yeah. I think 2 Contempts is a good number. And actually the Wild Growth Walkers aren't all that bad. But again, I'm having trouble knowing what to cut. I think you just want to cut all your Lana Wolves in this matchup. And the Isoni is also not that great of a threat. What the Wild Growth Walker does is that it's actually very hard to kill for them, so. Yeah, it feels like our sideboard is a little bit tilted too much towards control. I think 2 Contempts is a good number. Doom Whisper I think is too good of a threat. Cutting 1 Secret Squire when I bought in Wild Growth Walker seems a little bit weird. I'll just do that. Yeah, I think my opponent made me think the game was about something else than it really was about. Maybe Banefire actually does make sense in that deck. So it's just like between Justice, just between Niv Mizzets and what is it called, Ionize, and Justice Strikes that can go to the face, and like they just end up racking up a lot of incidental damage. I think I'm gonna keep his hand. We definitely need to draw 1 land in order to make it work, but yeah, that is just how it is. Do I Duress on turn 1? I think so, yeah. Since I can draw a small creature, I'd like to do this. Okay, so probably get rid of the Teferi here, since that's the biggest threat, and I don't have a Rastic Contempt right now. So yeah, let's just do that. And again, we see a similar games before, where I know they have counter magic now, so I can maybe try and navigate around that. Okay. That was not well at all. We had a little bit land light post board when I bought up my Lana Wolves. Yeah, I think I just need to cast this now. Also, the can't syncopate it, so that's okay. I think I will take the syncopate with the reasoning that it exiles and I have to find in hand. Land? Oh no. And now we go to discard. I can't even, I can't cast Defiant on no targets. So what do I discard here? By the way, I think the... Oh, my opponent forgot to cast the chemist's inside. I think the game is not necessarily... Sorry. I think the game is not necessarily over yet. But, it's pretty close. So I think... The thing about it though is that I have a lot of gas in hand. So I just need to figure out how to best utilize that. Yeah, the Gargara Queen doesn't seem that good since I don't really want to sacrifice my lands anytime soon. And I have 2 of them anyway. Definitely just gonna play this out instead of discarding. And if it's hit by a counterspell, they can't jumpstart the chemist's inside. So, yeah, that certainly works.
We need to move quickly.
Disdainful Stroke off, but this is actually okay. Oh wait, it's not okay. I can't just subject 1 land and then be able to cast Contempt. And there's a second Contempt. Okay, I think I'm just gonna pack it in now. Because now all we need is discard again. Yeah, like, definitely you could see, like, what you shouldn't do against Jeskai in game 1. Like, a lot of it is, I think it's something that went well, and that was well played, but definitely went too aggressive on the Doom Whisperer, and I should consider my life total as being a little less expendable than it actually is, since the fact that I can just die to Explosion out of nowhere, or just random burn spells, is certainly very scary. And even though, like, I managed to jockey my position card advantage-wise very well, it wasn't like my clock was incredible at all. So, anyway, this game is just whatever. Like, this happens. This is, though, a problem of porting out Llanowelves, because the deck does account for Llanowelves, in that it has only 23 lands, plus the district guides. So that post-board, when I bought them out, I'm actually a little bit low on land sources, and I bought in 6 drops. So that's certainly something to consider, and might be a very, very good argument for not having Llanowelf in the deck at all. Anyway, I am just going to concede this, and not waste my opponent's time anymore. Okay, so thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed these videos. You can see Golgari is not undefeatable, though it certainly might seem so. And I got my reward here. So, yep, thanks for checking it. And I hope you will check out Snapcaster, the app, and also MTG Mint Card for any of your gaming card needs. So, that is all. Bye.